Now, I know you've all seen the jokes. He's the diddler. Did he do it? All that jazz. One of the more prevalent ones I've seen though is 5 nights at Diddy's, comparing a Diddy party to staying one night at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Well, today I actually want to take a look at the opposite and see if P. Diddy could survive 5 nights at Freddy's. Before we get in though, I want to have like a little PSA. I have started a Discord server. I've got it up and running. It's not super fleshed out right now. Obviously I plan to flesh it out as it grows and add what everybody like wants to have, but I have a Discord server. The link is in the description. It should be a permanent join link, and I'll put links elsewhere as well to make sure people can join. But the reason I'm starting it is because I use the community posts a lot, and I probably still will, but I want to also just have a way to interact with you all and talk to you all. That's what I like to do. As I'm sure you notice, if you look in the comment section of any of my videos, I'm replying and hearting and everything to all of those comments, and that's because your input matters the most to me. So I set up a Discord server specifically to get all of your input. That being said, I hope you join the Discord server if you want, not necessary, and let's get into the video. I would like to state that this is FNAF 1. Diddy would get murdered by the toy animatronics as they have a database of every single predator to ever exist, which he definitely falls under. Meanwhile, FNAF 3 isn't as fun, and bro's not Kanye, so no need to worry about the nightmares. Now, here comes a rough part, mostly because I did way more for this video than I should have, but I had to figure out how good Diddy would actually be in the office. Well, being behind the monitor takes resolve and a mental fortitude, as this is 6 legitimate hours of keeping yourself safe from these robots. That's a lot of time. Granted, the power consumption would be the same, so it is possible to beat each night with power to spare, but that all depends on the efficiency of the person. Me personally, I don't think Diddy would be efficient with his use of the cameras, door lights, or doors whatsoever. However, I will give something to Diddy and say he's probably been in scarier scenarios. I didn't do a Diddy deep dive. I have no idea for certain because I was not willing to put that much time into looking into P. Diddy, but I don't think he'll get too freaked out in the first few nights, especially being given like 2 hours to figure out how to work everything on night 1. It's when everyone starts moving that Diddy will have an issue, as I don't think he's gonna stay as calm upon seeing Foxy bolt down the hall and Bonnie seemingly teleporting around the building. Night 1 is going to be an easy success for Mr. Combs. I mean, it's super simple, nobody's active until 2, and as a legend once said, the first night is never usually that bad. Now, night 2 is a little tougher. Bonnie reaches AI level 6. Now in the game, the AI level helps you find how often an animatronic gets to move. After a certain amount of time, a number from 1 to 20 is rolled, and if the animatronic's AI number is equal or greater than the number rolled, they can't move. I'll put a great video about it in the end card and in the top right corner. Point is, the max AI is 20, and Bonnie barely gets past a fourth of that here. Well, I think it would start to get tougher for Diddy. This night is still pretty easily possible for a new player to beat on their first try, especially if they're a little bit more perceptive on how everything works on night 1. Night 3 sees the Big Bear himself being able to step off the stage. However, Freddy has a very hard time making it to your door with an AI of 1. He has only a 1 in 20 chance of moving every time his number is rolled, and his AI remains constant throughout the night, unlike the others. However, Freddy's method of attack is different. He never appears at the doorway, but instead will sit in the corner camera, waiting for you to take that camera off of him while your door is open to attack you. He will also never leave the corner. So while Freddy could get Diddy, because it's so rare, it's hard for me to say it would happen. Despite Chica and Foxy having an overall higher AI level this night, Bonnie doing nothing for 2 hours overall makes the night similar in difficulty to night 2. I also think Diddy would start to realize that he doesn't need to track the robots throughout the entire building and can start to just wait for them to show up at the door and use the lights and doors. However, the trade-off to that is that it could lead to more Foxy attacks going forward. Freddy is still sadly not much of an issue. He can be AI 1 or 2, it's the only time it's ever randomized what AI someone is, but either way he gets next to nothing done, as he has so many places he can go just get stuck in if he even gets to move. However, the two slouchers last night are more aggressive this night, with Bonnie and Chica both being capable of getting to the door and getting stuck, although albeit probably not as long as they used to be able to. I can see things getting rough for Diddy, but not too bad to be fair. The kicker though is that Diddy would neglect the cameras as I said last night, and so Foxy gets to run more often. I think Diddy knows to check on Foxy though. With Foxy being as lenient as he is, Diddy could protect and defend against it, but there's more to Foxy than just attacking. You see, whenever Foxy is defended and he hits the door, he drains 1% power. Every time after that first hit, he adds 5% to what he drains. So first time 1, second time 6, third time 11. Diddy likely would recognize this as he has nothing better to do, but after 2 or 3 hits, totaling up to either 7 or 18% power drained, the damage is done, and before Diddy can hit 6 AM, the power goes out. Now, Freddy is a little special. He works in phases, and he has 3. He has the first phase where he's coming to the office, and every 5 seconds, there's a 20% chance to progress. After 20 seconds, he progresses to the next phase instantly. For phase 2, it works the exact same. Every 5 seconds, 20% chance to stop the music and progress to the next phase. For phase 3, he has a 20% chance to attack every 2 seconds. And while I'm not sure, I would think the limit is still 20 seconds. Now, out of my love for the bit, I painstakingly tried to convert game time to real time, finding what fraction of time 20 seconds is compared to each in-game hour, as well as 5 and 2 seconds. Phase 1 gives Freddy a 20% chance to appear roughly every 3.3 minutes, with a limit of roughly 13.3 minutes, with his music phase having the same chances. Finally, after the power is off and the music has ended, Freddy has a 20% chance to attack every 80 seconds, with the same rough limit of 13.3 minutes. The longest Freddy could take is 39.9 minutes, or 39 minutes 54 seconds, with the fastest possible time being 7 minutes 56 seconds. Diddy, I would say, is probably late into the night by the time he loses power. Power drain, like passive power drain, isn't too bad, and Bonnie and Chica won't be stuck as long if they get to the door. Because of that, and because time is on his side, I think Diddy makes it through this night. But for fun, I'll do some RNG anyways. There are about 4 chances for Freddy to act early in phases 1 and 2, with 9 chances in phase 3, although I'll give him 10 just to be nice. Now, I set up a wheel, 1 yes, 4 no's, because 20% chance, and I'll just spin it to see what happens, to see if Freddy gets to act early. Let's see what happens. I spun that wheel 18 times. 17 of them, which were all the only real chances Freddy gets to act early, were no. Freddy only got to act early on the 10th chance that I gave him because I wanted to feel nice. So, to put it safely, I think Diddy survives night 4, and if you want to see that full video of me spinning a wheel, and there's no audio, no nothing except for the wheel itself, I believe, that'll be in the description below as well. After what can only be divine intervention, Diddy returns for night 5. With a slightly more aggressive Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, and a barely less aggressive Foxy, I think Diddy will struggle more, as after night 4, he might panic more. The panic could lead to unnecessary power loss, and I don't think Diddy will know exactly how to deal with Foxy, so he might still hit once or twice, maybe even 3 times. With the animatronics coming to the door more as well, Diddy has the potential to use more power fending them off. Now they don't get stuck as long, but he might use the lights more is the point, leading to an earlier power outage than night 4. I'll say Diddy made it to 5:50 AM before power went out on night 4. Tonight he only made it to 5. How fitting. Seeing as how God is clearly on Diddy's side in this scenario, I'm just gonna decide that Freddy attacks Diddy in 15 minutes, so he goes through all of his phases within 15 minutes. The lights are off, Freddy's played his Toreador march, and in the dark, where little to nothing can be seen, Freddy attacks P. Diddy. But one thing Freddy nor you knew, my dear viewer, is that as Freddy sat there for 15 minutes, Diddy spent those 15 minutes covering himself in baby oil, and for the last 45 minutes, his only goal is to survive. With only 45 minutes left, can Diddy survive? Or will Freddy and friends catch him once and for all? Well, considering that Diddy was able to hide all the vile shit he did for as long as he did, I'd say he's pretty good at hiding things. Right away, the only character I can see catching Diddy is Foxy. His hook would allow him to get past grabbing him, which is unlikely now due to the baby oil. But that means Foxy needs to find Diddy without Diddy knowing, which is nigh impossible because Foxy is incredibly loud. I think Diddy could stay hidden for a little bit. If we go with the idea that the animatronics keep their aggressiveness, then it could be a while before anyone finds him. We'll say after 10 minutes he gets found by Chica in the kitchen, the most aggressive of the bunch on this night. This is when Diddy uses a sacred technique. He pours leftover baby oil in the kitchen before leaving in order to trap Chica in the slip and slide from hell. With that, I think Diddy might try to hide under a table in the dining room. However, that place doesn't last as long. Only 5 minutes this time, as now Freddy is stepping up his seeking game. Almost out of Tom and Jerry, Freddy chases Diddy around the pizzeria, with Diddy finding the spot and Freddy discovering it shortly after. This goes on until Freddy and the gang have Diddy trapped in the bathroom, backed up against the wall with only 5 minutes left to spare. Diddy must think of a plan to escape, and as Foxy goes to hook Diddy, he dashes underneath before falling back and sliding in between Freddy's legs. Yes, I made this as weird as I could. He gets up and finds the wall opposite of the bathroom's entrance. As the robots are hot on his trail, he turns right and runs before bumping into what seems to be an arcade machine. Diddy knows not where he is, but the animatronics don't seem to follow him into the room. So he waits out the last 5 minutes, and as the power comes back and the animatronics return to their stage, Diddy walks out of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, able to say he has survived 5 nights at Freddy's. Diddy survived. On one hand, it's due to God's intervention, and on the other hand, it's due to baby oil. Now, in reality, Diddy gets murdered probably like night 3, night 4, but in a video made for the bit like this one, this was one of the most fun endings I could think of, and I genuinely was not expecting the wheel to work how it did. I think after these 5 nights, instead of Diddy going back for night 6, he would just put a hit out on Freddy, but it'd likely end up something like this. It's a shame that Freddy couldn't catch Diddy, but thankfully, in the real world, we didn't need him to.